and it offers an open and inclusive ecosystem for individuals, institutions, and organizations working together. And I think I included a here as well one that was just produced by CESDA on the FAIR principles and how to make data fair. It shouldn't be available.
Fair data principles are guidelines to enhance the reusability of scientific data. We will show you how you can assess the fairness of the dataset and which tools you can use to make research data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable for people and machines. This is brought to you by experts of CESDA, the Consortium for European Social Science Data Archives.
To reuse data, you need to be able to find them. This means that they are indexed and discoverable via search engines and catalogues and have machine-readable metadata. Unique identifiers, such as a digital object identifier, and detailed metadata that enable discovery and provide detail about the content to the user, facilitate this. Data being accessible means that they can be retrieved via the identifier through an open protocol. This may require authentication and authorization. Interoperable data have a standard, open and machine-readable file format, and the data elements are tagged with standard vocabularies or ontologies. All these aspects make data reusable. A license should describe how the data can be used and whether conditions apply. Remember that fair data is not the same as open data. Provenance information also helps for reuse. Let's now see what this means in practice.
Various tools exist to assess the fairness of your data. One such tool is the Fair Self-Assessment tool, developed by the Australian Research Data Commons. 12 questions guide you in assessing how fair your data are and determine how to enhance the fairness. We will assess the so-called MOLD dataset, resulting from monitoring of young people's lifestyle and everyday life. Data on physical activity, diet, well-being, etc. are collected from 16 to 20-year-olds in Denmark, and the dataset is held in the Danish National Archives.
The MOLD dataset is made findable thanks to its unique, citable and persistent DOI. The dataset identifier is also included in the codebook. The data are described with rich and detailed metadata, including a codebook and machine-readable DDI metadata. The data are discoverable via the Danish National Archives and more widely, thanks to metadata exchange, also via the CESDA data catalog, Google Dataset Search and DataSite. The data are freely accessible and made available for download after completing an order form and agreeing with the use conditions. The data are available in various file formats, including as comma-separated values, a machine-readable standard open format. The data elements are described using DDI metadata. The dataset is licensed under a standard text-based license. Detailed provenance is provided in the codebook, explaining the variables, survey design, the questions asked during the survey, and the frequency distribution of the responses. Scoring bars show how fair the dataset is according to those 12 criteria.
We could make this dataset more fair by making the data more easily accessible online. This does not mean providing open access. That would be impossible for this dataset containing personal and sensitive data. Safeguards will always need to be put in place. Having the dataset order form available in English would also help. Interoperability can be improved by linked up metadata that link to the entire series and the datasets of the same study carried out in other years, as the survey has been repeated regularly. Making the license and the use conditions visible in the metadata also raises fairness.
Here are some tools and strategies you can use to make your research data fair. Publish your data in a trustworthy data repository. Such repositories will take care of many requirements for fair data for you. For example, developing detailed, machine-readable and interoperable metadata, persistent identifiers, and standard file formats. You can find a suitable repository via re3data or the CESDA network. CESDA's Data Management Expert Guide provides a lot of useful and easy to understand guidance for researchers to make
Now
their
because
data
it's
fair.
going to go through some tools that I already mentioned. So it's going to go to the data management tool that I mentioned and the Low-Star Repair Kit. So you can go ahead and have a look at this. I'm a bit pressured by time, so I'll move a bit quickly now. And this is some data management guidance from ourselves as well, and we have a second version of the Managing and Sharing Research Data book that was published a couple of years back. If you can get your hands on that, it's very useful as well. So I had a presentation on queuing my data, which is a tool used to assess data quality for survey data. And so we developed this. It's a free, easy to use, open source tool, and it provides a health check for numeric data. Uses automated methods to detect and report on some of the most common problems in survey or numeric data, such as missingness, duplication, outliers, and direct identifiers. So it offers a number of configurable tests that have been categorized into 4 types. So file, metadata, data integrity, and identifiers. It can be run on different file formats. So you have SPSS, status, SAS, and CSV. It creates a report, and it tells you on the errors and issues such as so missing values, or so sorry, the checks I described earlier. That's later in the next slide. And it's easily downloadable, so you can download it from you can download it online and install it on your PC. And it's available openly through Creative Commons as well. So what it does now, in terms of metadata checks, so it reports on missing value labels, no label for user-defined missing values, odd characters and variable names and labels, or odd characters and value labels, maximum length of variable labels if that's something that the software has restriction on, maximum length of value labels, spelling mistakes, etc. You have data integrity checks, so it checks for duplicate IDs, for odd characters and string data, spelling mistakes, percentage of value missing. Okay, and disclosure control checks. You have direct identifiers, and direct identifiers and names, entities, and string variables using the dictionary file. So this is how the report looks like. So you upload your data set into the software and it spills out this report. And this tells you exactly, so for example here, there's missing value labels. That's not big enough, but that's what it says. And it will tell you, for example, if there is a name, it will tell you the row where that name is, so you can go exactly there and change it. I can do I will be in the lunch, during lunchtime, so I can show you how this works. I was going to do the exercise now, but it does take quite a lot of time to install it on your computer. So, but you can have a look at how it works in the break. I also included some information on how to prepare for sharing your data, but I will move on through that. And where to publish, so of course you have different options. So you have, sometimes the journal where you publish will also require the data, so it will be an annex to a paper. You can choose an institutional data repository. You can choose a general purpose repository or domain specific, and you have examples there of different repositories that you can choose from. This is our own self-deposit repository, and I can also show you how during lunch how you can do this. You basically just need to go online and log in, and you fill in a form. You upload the data. It's all through a secure connection as well. And there's a YouTube video there as well on how it works. And finally, I wanted to mention this because at the end, it's a testimony from a migrant who participated at our event. So he said that research participants want to know that their contributions will have an effect. Maybe not for themselves, but for migrants in general and for future generations in policy. And that researchers have a responsibility to pursue impact for the data and make their findings transparent, approachable, findable, and reusable. And he also mentioned that researchers should use verbatim quotation so that their words are not misused or misunderstood. And how to achieve this, just try to make your data as fair as possible when you publish it. There was also an exercise, but we don't have time for it. So I was going to use the same tool that you saw in the video. It asks you different questions about a data set. So does it have a DOI? Does it have, so I was going to do that now, but of course we don't have time. But you can do it at home. So if you are planning on publishing your data, or if you've chosen an archive or a repository, go through their catalog and choose a data collection and sort of go through this tool and see if they meet all these criteria before you choose to publish with them.